Hello and welcome to Positive Fandom. I am your host, RM, and we have Reina Creole with us today. Hello, Lorena.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm so excited for the conclusion of this Crown Season 5 watch party, Lorena. This has been such an amazing series so far.
Yes, absolutely. It's just been so intriguing, uh, so engaging, and I'm I'm ex- I'm excited to see how it ends, and I'm kind of sad to see how it ends because that's going to be all the episodes.
I know, and I mean, we're not at a stage in the series, or at least in streaming, where they're not going to be dropping whole seasons of episodes. But it's sometimes I like it, but then you're right, it's like it's over, and you're like, oh, it's the end. But the last time we met in the series, we had just come off of this situation where Princess Diana, was being duped by
Hmm.
Bashir and kind of coerced, I guess, into doing an interview that she believed she was in danger.
Right.
And he kind of played off of those fears on her, and this really is disturbing. I didn't know that was the situation at the time, because it
Hmm.
was such a bombshell when the interview came out. It was
Right.
as much of a bombshell as the recorded phone call,
Hmm.
tampon gate, or the Knicker Chronicles, or whatever we want to call it,
Yeah.
between Camilla and Charles, which was also quite, a newsworthy thing. Now we're talking about an actual interview with the Princess of Wales. And
Right.
so this is something I can't wait to dive in. So guys, we were watching this on Netflix. The series is on Netflix. It premiered
Hmm.
just this week. And we are on episode 8, Gunpowder. And I think we all know what that means. Gunpowder. All right, I'm going to press play. I see the N, the letter N for Netflix there.
And ta-da! There we go.
That's right.
There we go.
That looks like St. Paul's. I'm not sure, but somewhere in London.
Hmm. Yeah. No joke. For a minute, I thought he was going to the Ministry of Magic because it looks so nondescript. Like people are just going to work in London,
Hmm.
and you just go into a building, or I think it's like a telephone booth, and you're in the Ministry of Magic, like hidden in plain sight, in a way, so to speak.
Absolutely. We know it's in there.
Yeah. Oh well. Hmm. Mm.
What?
Well.
Hmm.
Splendid. Splendid.
Yeah, here you
I'm blowing smoke up my own butt.
Why do I have a feeling they don't want him there?
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you being an ass?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Have they
In
only said
contrast,
this?
yes. We don't want to talk about what y'all did to Doctor Who, but
Hmm. If you could only go in the future and see what would happen.
exactly. Yes. Man, I remember having to do this, fix the TV.
Give it a good whack on the side.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the channel turner's going, okay, get some pliers. I love this.
What? The dishes didn't look good. It's true.
Mm-hmm. It's very ugly. I like this with William, kind of, the more time he spends with his grandmother, because it's her grandson, she's more likely to understand why he wants to be modern. Like she's more willing to listen to him. There you go.
Good. Good with the taps.
Yep. Sometimes that does it. Those little corgis.
So I'll never forget my brother. We all had those TVs at one time, and my brother had a
Mhm.
beverage. He put it on top of the TV. It tipped over into the TV. He says he could see sparks. He unplugs the TV, puts it outside, comes back
Mhm.
a week or so later, plugs it in, works fine.
Those TVs were something else,
Mhm.
especially if you had to use the antenna. Go fix up the antenna. No, move it over here. No, move it over here.
Yep. And I've gamed on a lot of TVs like that too. So, like my Nintendo 64 was on that
Hmm.
regular type of TV and it looked great. Like everything looked great. So,
Yeah, with the connectors and everything that you put in there. That's how you used to, hook it up. And the big thing about cable is it's like since it wasn't over the antennas, you just went to like the cable box or the satellite dishes were kind of ugly when they first came out. They were huge, but it's like you get all these channels and everything. And it's interesting. The BBC was about as out of touch as PBS over here. She's like, I'm so happy.
aw,
That's the there's the cabs.
I love those cabs.
I'm like, sit kind of high in here. He just looked like he woke up pissed off. He just has this haughty attitude.
Yeah, he does.
Hmm. Guy Fawkes died. Hmm.
Yeah, they have to tell somebody. Someone's going to have to know. He's afraid. He's afraid that they're going to take that interview away from him.
Oh yeah, because that's a bombshell of an interview. Who's going to sit down with the Princess of Wales for literally however amount of time to get that kind of interview with her? Friend in quotes.
Her voice is so soothing.
He just wants his mom to be happy. Yeah, but I don't want to know about. Yeah.
Aw. Well, she has to tell him so he doesn't find out from someone else.
Yeah, that's not the kind of thing that you, as uncomfortable as it makes him, it's almost better that she tells him so he knows, as opposed to, what do you mean my mom's dating some dude?
Cheers. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh my gosh, the expensive crystal. She said Cheltenham. In Philly, we call it Cheltenham. That's why I could always tell if someone was from Philly or if they were from England. We're like, pronounce this. If you said Cheltenham, you knew you were from Philly. But if you said Cheltenham, yeah, you're from England. Yet another weird thing when you go to the UK and you see certain names of places that have been like copied here in the New World. They're like Kensington. Kensington Palace is nice. I said, well, the Kensington area of Philly is not very nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the BBC chief,
Hmm.
I think, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have the clapper back then, so they had to.
Reach over, turn one of the best commercials ever.
Even I can feel the pressure of this even now. What are they going to say to him? We don't think you're right to do this interview.
We need someone more seasoned,
Mm-hmm.
someone with more of a connection to
A
the royal
different,
family.
someone who has the right image for the BBC.
Yes, we're held to a higher standard. We don't recruit just anyone to do these interviews. What do you think we are, American?
Right.
Now that was a very shrewd answer.
Don't we know it?
Hmm. What? It pays to do your recon. So that's another thing.
This is a delicate matter.
Yeah, that close to the palace.
Could the queen block it?
That's a good question.
They just got that royal standard for the next 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Really? Really? Really?
Oh my God, the timing is just unbelievable.
I wonder how much of this is true and how much of this is to just ratchet up the stakes. Were they really in talks to do something special for the Queen on the BBC around the time that they could possibly get the Diana interview?
It's a good question.
That would be America. Well, at least what we're trying to keep anyway.
They're at odds.
Very much so. He is the old guard, which is the problem with the monarchy in the first place. That's like having the White House. God, this is funny. Having the White House and say, well, PBS, both of them intertwined. Mm-hmm. Yep. Y'all don't like Rupert, do you? He was Australian, right?
He is.
Because Rupert did stir things up when he started Fox.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, ma'am. What a nightmare for this man.
Ugh, we have a problem.
We're at DEF CON 4.
Yeah. Katie barred the door.
Oh my God. That's I we have to find out if this is the course of events because I'm surprised at this. Um wow. No, that's her brother.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing anything about MI5 in the interview. Do you?
I don't either. The only time I heard it come up was for the possible wiretapping, and that was about it. Hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right.
I didn't even realize it was Guy Fawkes night when that interview came out. Like I
I
didn't know.
didn't either.
He is he's doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on this.
It's like, what is it, or rather, what is in it for him?
Fame, notoriety. Like I said, they end up winning a BAFTA, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
the interview.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Besides that, he wanted to blow up Parliament. They were very angry.
And we use the word guy because of him, right? I mean, that's why we use it.
Yeah.
Just guy, or not the YouTube channel, but just in general as a term.
Mm-hmm. Which is true.
It's very funny that we use that word guy. Maybe it's like a zinger to people if we keep using that. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Try, yeah.
Cons- High treason. They were trying to take all of them out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd feel uncomfortable in the classroom talking about this if I were the heir to the throne.
What would crack me up is how come he didn't know about this already? 1605, 1605, 1605. Clicks. 1605, 1605. Who is that? Elizabeth?
I don't know.
Had a bit. No, no, no. King and Queens. Maybe it was Queen. Wait. Was it Mary? No, 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 no. I think. I think it was it King James?
Hmm.
I think it was King James.
I always think about the King James Bible. I wonder if that's the same.
I think that's about it. Let's see.
I also think it's a little unusual that they do set bonfires that night, like an activity.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the gunpowder plot was a plot to assassinate King James.
Yeah, that's wow.
And the reason I say that is because I think that was in 1605, 15 years before the Pilgrims left
Mm-hmm.
to come to the new world. Because there was actually a Geneva Bible before then, and King James did not like it because the notes that were in it were very, very critical of the king. So they actually had to flee to the Netherlands. So what happened is they came out with the quote unquote King James Bible that did not have that criticism of the king, because to criticize the king in such a way was considered to be treason.
Well, that's the version that I grew up with.
Yes, I did not know about the Geneva Bible until I went to the Pilgrim Museum in Plymouth and saw the Bible of my 11th great grandfather, who was James Bradford, Governor James Bradford. He was governor of Plymouth Colony, and they had his Bible that was there. And I'm like, what is in these? Like literally notes where it would break down the scriptures, because the objective was to have a Bible that no matter what your education level was, that you could read it and understand it. I'm like, I've never seen a Bible like this ever in my life. And that's when I found out about the Geneva Bible, which was banned in England because King James did not like the commentary where they would say like against tyrants and all of that. Nah, he didn't like that. I was like, wow. So that's how I found out about it. I did not know there was another one besides the King James Bible. So that makes sense.
Absolutely. And they do have fireworks on that night too.
Yes.
I just saw a little bit of the fireworks there. This looks exactly like her. For anybody who's ever seen this interview, we are what is it? It says there's 29 minutes left in the
Mm-hmm.
program. This looks exactly like the interview. They did such a good job. It's oh my gosh, this looks like it. Lorena, this looks just
Wow.
like it. Look at this.
And I didn't see, I think I saw clips of this on American television.
That director is going to lose his mind when he finds out about this interview.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be effigies. I think they burn. I don't know. They still do the effigies, but
Mm-hmm.
there's the bonfires. Yeah, there's the effigy on the bonfire. I had no idea that this happened on that night.
I didn't either.
Wow. She got duped like crazy through this whole thing.
It's just nuts, isn't it?
And it's very interesting. They're not letting you hear the language, but they're showing you
Hmm.
Charles and Camilla kissing each other on Guy Fawkes night while she's telling everybody what's happened.
And they have no idea this is coming. Mhm. I guess that's the effigy of King
Mhm.
James. Yeah, they were going to assassinate King James while he was at the, it was like a very public ceremony.
Yeah, fish and chips sounds good right about now.
Oh God, yeah. Especially with the malt vinegar.
And pickled onions.
I haven't had those. I think I've had them before,
You
but
have
I've mostly had them just with peas, like fish and chips
mhm.
and peas. And it sounds like the most boring dish in the world. However, I will tell you, one, it's fried, which means fried fish in the South is we freaking love it. Like fried fish and like hush puppies. And for England, it's like fried fish and chips, and Southerners love it. What's the snooker room? What's that?
It's like pool, but it's another. It looks like pool.
Hmm.
It looks exactly like pool. Actually, I'm sure there are differences, but when you go into the snooker room, it looks like a pool table.
Oh,
Yeah, you've seen it. It just probably didn't realize it was snooker.
oh, okay.
Mhm. Now, who is he visiting?
I'm intrigued.
What looks like an older person's residence. It looks kind of nice.
Hmm. Oh, Duchess of York Suite. That's Fergie.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are they
so they go.
broadcasting from another location?
I think so. They can't be broadcasting in England. I mean, excuse me, in London, because they will come there and raid them.
That the hair, the look.
You see,
She should have talked to CBS. Hmm.
oh, so they were reviewing the footage.
And you know something, that is something to think about. And unfortunately she's in this difficult decision of what to do in the position that she's in. But knowing what we know now, she was coerced into this, and
Hmm.
it's really disappointing to know that now.
Because she feels people were betraying her, but it turns out that that wasn't the case.
Yeah. So the only person who knows that those people didn't betray her are Bashir and maybe one other person who made the invoices.
Yeah.
His editor doesn't know. The chief of the, you know, I guess they don't know, and the
Mhm.
broadcasting guys don't know.
Yeah, because they have no reason to doubt them at all. It's like, who would think that you would forge documents for that? It's like, why risk your career by forging documents like that?
Ooh, the horses.
Grandparents get so excited when you hook them up with new stuff. Proof font.
OTB at your fingertips.
Hmm. Dallas, that's right. Oh, yes, she does.
Aw. Is she going to turn on to the interview?
I bet you she is.
This is going to break her.
Yeah, okay, grandma. Yeah, great grandma. Okay. Alexander Pesh.
That's right. No one had them.
Mm-mm. Like they used to play the national anthem at the end of the broadcast day.
That's right. I used to like that. Mm-hmm. 2, 4, and 7, I guess, was it more or less.
Mhm. Hmm. Yeah, he know what's up. I'm out.
I'm outie.
Get me with these crazy people. I want to go.
She ran the hell out of there. Look at this.
Don't get mad because you didn't think of it first. Wow.
She moved pretty quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, time to get up.
Take me with you, honey.
Me today. Oh boy. Now I wonder if this also happened.
It's an excellent question.
Mhm. What is she
It,
going to say to the queen? I made an interview that may be disturbing.
I'm going to put all your dirty laundry out there in public. Mm-hmm. Well, mm-hmm. Good question. Such as,
Well, Charles gave an interview before this.
that's right. But in a lot of, he gave that interview, but he also did it to save face for the monarchy.
Absolutely. And
Diana is angry.
and he only gave the interview because of that tapes that got released.
Hmm. Exactly.
Hmm.
That's not an answer. That's not an answer. I wonder if this was what she actually said.
But it feels like it's a contradiction to what you need to speak to somebody and it's urgent and they don't,
Hmm.
they ghost you.
Which I think she did. She was just dismissive towards her.
And yet she got an audience with her right now.
Hmm.
So,
Because the consequences are grave. Well, if y'all want her to be happy, they've had a funny freaking way of showing it.
mm,
I'd still do it.
what does he have to worry about?
It's like the details of your parents' life get put out there, and you know how peers talk, and but he knows exactly how unhappy his mother is.
So is she divorced at this point or is she
I
still
think there's,
separated?
I think they're still separated because I think Fergie and Andrew got. Did they get divorced before Charles and Diana?
Yes, they did. Yes, I believe
Okay,
so.
because I know Fergie was just like the royal family just completely just dissed her on the regular.
But I think that Fergie and Andrew would have worked out if they were together more. I really
Yeah,
believe that.
because he was away for such long periods of time.
Now, does this man have the ability to block them from playing the interview?
That is an excellent question. Well, who is it? Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They just do not like her.
He is not happy that his guy did it. Did it? So he wants to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And we both knew he was going to say that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you yourself on the wrong side of history. Now that sounds like what a lot of people have been saying recently about some notions about history
Mm-hmm.
will show that we're right.
Yeah, you're gonna be on the wrong side of history. I want to say, to quote Yoda, always in motion is the future.
I don't know, because of the circumstances of the interview, because we know it was coerced. I don't think anyone
Mm-hmm.
can blame at that point. I think if it was free of coercion and it was something that happened organically and naturally,
Mm-hmm.
then that's one thing. But since it's a coercion, it's all on Bashir.
Yeah, because he pushed that to get that out of her. It's almost like extortion in a way.
Yeah. to even say that her brother was possibly, they got to him, he's really ballsy to say that.
Mm-hmm. Why do I know who this is? Is that Leona Headley? Why do I think that voice is driving me crazy? I know who that is.
I think it's from the musical Dreamgirls. And you remember Jennifer Hudson's, Jennifer Hudson sing it in the movie,
I think she did.
or was it Beyonce? It might have been Beyonce. They both were fantastic in that film. Oh God. Look at that. It looks just like her. Oh my goodness. Congratulations to the production team on this for doing an incredible recreation of this.
I think this is just me. I think this interview endears her to the people, even though it was basically extorted,
Mm-hmm.
but it really made the royal family look horrible.
And she sounds very honest. This is not, she's not lying in this.
Mm-mm.
100% honesty.
Exactly.
But it is dirty laundry.
And that's the thing. That is dirty laundry. They don't want to deal with dirty laundry at all. Yes, Margaret know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Oh, and look at this. Mm.
That always sends chills up my spine hearing her say that.
Mm-hmm. She's not wrong, is she?
No, she isn't.
That's the thing. It's just like she's not wrong.
There were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. Now, this is exactly what you were talking about, Lorena. Clearly, people could relate to this. When I remember, she said someone has to hug them and love them. Like she says something like that, and how
Mm-hmm.
important it was for people to hear that someone has to hug them and love them. And I thought that that was very daring for a reserved person to say, let alone
Mm-hmm.
a member of this family to say.
Right. Exactly. Have like all your parents' dirty laundry out there. Well, bruh.
Well, he's got it now.
Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you what's up.
She certainly doesn't sound revengeful.
No. And I honestly think she doesn't love him enough to hate him. So it's just like, it is what it is.
The queen of
And that's how she related to people because they were just like, yeah, I knew this so and this happened to me. And if she doesn't feel acknowledged in the royal family, you know, I'm not by myself in a way.
hmm I love that she says that. Someone has to go out onto the streets and give people the love that they need.
Hmm.
If anything, we always knew this about her, that she was a loving person.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the most significant thing that came out of the interview, is generational wise. The legacy of the interview is, people have marriages and things that don't work, but her caring for others has always been something that has been an example for other people.
absolutely. Because she was just, anyone who like came up to her, she didn't act like they were bothering her. She always wanted to smile, wanted to talk, was adamant about spending time with her children and raising her children.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Here's the thing. I think the queen could have stopped this, but she didn't.
Yeah, I
What
think she did. Yeah, I totally agree with her. All she had to say was, you know what? I'm sorry. You needed me and I wasn't there. And that's on me. And all she did was just double down, like, well, we're all busy. Basically, you need to suck it up and deal.
Now, I think it's interesting that he decided, oh, so he's heard shocking things about. This is very interesting, and people, I think there were some during some of the Roman times where some people ducked out and said they didn't want to serve a leader that didn't really reflect their
Right.
personal taste. He's saying, I can't
Hmm.
be with this organization. This is a big fail. How can you show up to work the next day when you were considering making a tribute to the queen, and this is something that would not be perceived as a tribute at all?
Exactly.
So it doesn't shed the queen in a good light. She doesn't look in a good light there. So she watched the interview?
I- I'm not sure.
I love
Shaggy.
I love television in the 80s or the 90s. It was so good.
Beavis and Butthead. William's like, can I watch Beavis and Butthead? There you go. Is that the Mormon Tabernacle Choir?
Yeah, probably.
I hope it's not PTL.
It's very interesting, Lorena, that through this entire episode we saw the Prince of Wales with the Queen more than with his own mother.
Yes. And that was something I remember hearing about. I think it was in an interview that William had gave where he talked about how much he spent time with his grandmother, especially after the news got out about his father. And she was pretty much like, I need to put time into my son, because from interviews that I had read, she was not happy with Charles at all. And she was just like, I just need to start grooming William to potentially be the future king.
Well, we are on episode 9, just started
Mhm.
episode 9, called Couple 31, at 51
Mm.
minutes left.
I've seen him before.
It's so matter of fact. Was this a divorce court or mediation or something?
Yeah, I think so. Irreconcilable differences. I think this was when Charles and Diana had their divorce um, lawsuit, I guess official. They had to show up, I guess, like everyone else.
Oh,
And that's a common thing I've heard. When women check out, we're done checking out. We're just done. And some men are like, I didn't see it coming, but men tend to get out even when they still have an emotional attachment. Women are done, we're just done.
hmm. So I'm guessing couple 31, as you said, Lorena, is Charles and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
And, you would hear a report that their divorce was finalized
Mm-hmm.
today at such and such time. But
Yep.
also precipitated the divorce, the interview, which I think was kind of put on the back burner. I don't know whether she would have been granted the divorce. Things were so shaky. It wasn't an amicable kind of situation. And it was in the Crown's favor to just keep her there as a separated party. So
Mm-hmm.
here they had to be divorce settlement agreements. And you and I both know that she's in the fight for her life with this divorce settlement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sharing custody for kids, her livelihood,
And I
what was going to change.
exactly. I think that she should have still had security guards. I don't remember exactly what happened with that, but
Mm-hmm.
she absolutely needs to have security guards.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Oh, no worries.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But a quick agreement means that she doesn't get everything that she needs, oftentimes, right? We want to
It's possible.
solve this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Usually means you're not going to get all the protections and things that you're entitled to. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's best for the children is to solve it quickly.
So you have to ask the question, and whose best interest is it to solve this quickly?
Mhm. I'm of the notion, and this really what I'm saying isn't sort of like what should be done, but if they really wanted to, they could have given her the divorce a long time ago and just done it, and then that would have been the end of it, and give her whatever she needs and end it. But um, can you imagine? Even her divorce settlement has to be a matter of contention, a matter of discussion. You just can't get any peace. It feels quite disturbing,
Very.
and I don't suppose she could ask for privacy in this matter.
No, if it's, I don't know what British law is like, but I know here in the United States, unless there's some reason to have it sealed, divorce decrees are public, and you can find out exactly what the outcome was: division of property, listing of assets. Who? Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, he's done. It's so sad.
So sad.
Well, if she was trying to avoid the press before, she's no way she's ever going to avoid them now.
No. They waiting for her. Just like the click of all of those shutters. It's so disconcerting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That sounds reasonable. Not really. Not unrealistic.
I have to raise your two kids. I have a standard of living that I'm used to. You want to be with that heifer, you're going to have to pay. No. Interesting how we really haven't heard from Camilla's husband about all this.
She's actually gone through a few husbands since this time, I think. Um,
Mm.
she's been married a few times before that. And oh, yes. He's really
Also,
bending over backwards for Camilla.
hmm, more so than for his own wife, and I think that's like the anger that Diana, kind of feels. But at the same time, they're so mismatched. But he doesn't see any reason to really put work into it as long as he's got access to Camilla.
Now we knew mediation was going to come into this, but who's going to be the mediator?
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I don't know. But
What? The prime minister as a mediator for a divorce?
why drag me into this?
That's not fair. And he's currently the prime minister, right, Lorena?
Mm-hmm.
This is unfair.
True, he is trusted by both sides, but it's yeah, it's just like. But then again, you have the queen asking you this.
That's true.
Wow.
I don't think I could take this. I don't think I could mediate this divorce.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember what happens. Do you?
No, I don't either.
Oh, John Major's wife does not seem happy with this
Mm-mm.
development.
No, not at all. I bet you they're going to be at the end of this.
Yes. Has there ever been a court case with the Prince of Wales, any Prince of Wales, getting a divorce in the court system? Maybe this is the
Mm.
first one and only one ever, other than, I guess maybe Fergie and her husband went through this.
Mm-hmm. But that's been like the last thing. The only one that could possibly happen would be, William and Kate, which I don't see that ever happening because those two were just in love with each other. I would see Harry and Meghan would happen first, but that would probably be a U.S. divorce.
Mm-hmm. But it seems more likely that that could happen.
Yeah. But I think this kind of shows the difference. Just like the realistic problems that people have in their marriage, and people kind of have the image that the royals are different. It turns out they're not so different at all.
No, you're right. That's a good point.
I like this contrast.
It is an interesting contrast. And I'm wondering, Lorena, if the reason why they're showing this to us is because you remember around this time period, they talked about how the divorce rate had increased, how, more than 50% of marriages ended up in divorce for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that they're also trying to demonstrate that here. I don't know what the statistics are like in the UK, but I know in the US it was skyrocketing, right?
Yeah, because divorce wasn't really common, but around this time period, it started to not be as taboo, I would say. So, as a matter of fact, I think around this time, the show called Divorce Court, which I love watching. I've watched it for like 4 years. A divorce isn't as it's not as taboo as it used to be, but this was kind of just like when it was just starting. And it's like I remember it's just like you were like scared to death your parents were going to get a divorce because it's just like what's gonna happen. And unfortunately, with the divorce rate being the way that it is, it's so common. It's like, yeah, my parents are getting divorced. But how many sitcoms did we see like the parents were getting divorced and it was like a huge, huge deal?
Yeah, you're right.
I heard tea, well, cream because I can't have milk. Apparently, that's British style. I had someone tell me. I'm like, ooh, because I really liked it. That's how I'd always done it. But I go to the Starbucks in the UK and they're just like, oh, would you like with milk? I'm like, no. Where's your half and half?
Mhm.
they didn't have it, so I had to get soy or like make my own.
Loving the Prince of Wales has cost me everything.
Hmm. Oh, was that the boot guy? Put a boot on it. You got some tickets you didn't pay? Oh, parking where she wasn't supposed to. Mhm.
It's very awkward. Oh, maybe you have to have a sticker to park in that area.
That could be, yeah.
I think she has put her foot on the floor and already gone for it. She's went for it since 1976.
Hmm.
She can't turn and get out of this now.
She
This
was
one,
freaking shameless.
yeah, she's in for the long haul on this one. She could have walked away after the recordings, but didn't.
But stayed around because she wants Charles.
Queen consort. Is she? She is the queen consort, isn't
She
she?
is the queen. Yeah, she's the queen consort. So when she married Charles, she was given the title Duchess of Cornwall and the queen consort.
Yeah, she's. I think she's all in already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think she does. I think she does kind of come out and say, kind of defend herself in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
saying, that she's who she is and, you know, please don't refer to me as this. I'm Camilla Parker Bowles. Uh,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and that was Charles's recommendation for Camilla, to get this spin doctor.
Yep. Exactly.
It was good advice. So let me ask you this question. When
Mm-hmm.
they finally did marry, were you surprised?
No, I was surprised the queen allowed it, but yeah, I was. I wasn't. I wasn't surprised.
And it's been, what has it been, 20 years or so?
I think so.
Hmm. So then overall, it's been a successful match.
Yes, because they're very much alike. They're within the same age range. Um, and they just are. They're just much better suited towards each other. He's a older man who really didn't have it within himself to be able to keep up with the younger woman. That was pretty much it in a nutshell. And he didn't want to. That's the thing. If he wanted to, he wouldn't have been dealing with Camilla. But yeah, they've been married for I don't know how long. I thought at first Charles wasn't going to be allowed to become king because of the divorce.
I
Maybe
don't.
I'm behind. And I thought that for, I guess after a certain time had passed, that it had changed, and then he married Camilla, and then all of a sudden it was, I think it was after Diana's death. I'm trying to remember.
Yes, it was after Diana's death. You're right. As long as she was alive, he could they could never he Charles could never marry Camilla. When unfortunately Diana passed away, he was
Hmm.
free to marry whomever he liked.
Hmm.
You're
And
right.
that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. My memory's not that fuzzy then. Okay.
What's the
Which is,
stipulation? That's fair. That's fair. It's an NDA agreement.
yeah. How much are we talking? In reality, they want you to shut up.
Mhm. But no more interviews, please. And she's like, I just want my money. Thank you.
Yeah. Give me my money so I can live peacefully, and you give me enough to be like, yeah, you made it worth my while to keep my mouth shut.
Mhm.
But you're right. This is like an NDA.
Mhm.
Interesting. They keep calling her Mrs. Parker Bowles.
Well, she kept the married name even though she's divorced. So remember,
Mm.
like our mother's generation, where the women were always known as Mrs. and the man's name.
Uh, okay.
She is in that generation from the
Hmm.
70s. A lot of women still kept that.
Yeah. So it's like now you either, if you either you drop the last name or you just say Ms.
Hmm. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what her new thing is now. So what is she known as? Do we know her?
Don't know.
Just like what you said, the Duchess of something and the Queen's consort, maybe.
Hmm.
That's true. Ah, good for you. Reach a generous agreement.
Pay her enough money where she will be too busy shopping at Gucci to
Mhm,
worry about what you're doing.
mhm.
Hmm.
is something now that in some dating places they'll say, these are the things I'm looking for, and this is the agreement that we're going to have. It's
Mm-hmm.
situations like this. Now, I even have a friend who had said, like, if they decide to change their minds, whether it's okay or not,
Mm-hmm.
if they try for it or not, that this can break people up if one person doesn't want children and the other one does.
I've seen that happen. They were just like, well, we want, I wanted children, and you didn't want children. Some people thought that maybe it'll change, maybe she'll change her mind, and they wouldn't have like that discussion. But that is a deal breaker.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, dang.
That's not nice what he's saying. He doesn't.
No, but some of these folks, when they get into divorce, it can get real acrimonious.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now, why is she getting involved? Because she's not supposed to be involved in this, is she?
No, but she wanted him to be mediator, so she has an interest as she is the queen.
Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what a decree nisi is. That's the dissolution of the marriage, perhaps?
I think it's probably the settlement. I think the settlement that they submit to the court,
Mhm.
and then some time before it's actually filed. I mean, I've never been through a divorce, but probably the last chance of, okay, this is it. There are any additional revisions that need to be made to this, and if not, boom, decree is final. And they stamp it with the date. I've never been divorced, but one guy I was dating decided to be a real jerk and say, no one's going to find out what happened between the divorce between me and my ex. I said, oh, really?
Yeah, that's that. Does he not know that that's like a signal to not date him because it sounds very suspicious?
Very suspicious. We weren't together for very long. And after that ended, guess what? Your girl contacted the courthouse, the county courthouse where he got his divorce. And I got everything: the initial filings, the edit to the filings, income statement declarations, initial settlement. Even found out that he tried to take the custody of the dog because they were not married, including the dog. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I found all of that out.
listen,
All
I
of that out. And yeah, I think I guess either they couldn't afford divorce lawyers or whatever. So it was very, very quick, and mainly to like his benefit. So his soon to be ex wife, yeah, she wound up paying a lot
oh
with
no.
respect to the marital assets.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the one company that they both started.
That's
Basically, he basically said, you have no stake in it. And she actually signed off on that. So I don't know if she signed off on that so she'd get rid of him, which may have possibly been the case. I don't know, but yeah, divorce decrees are public, folks. Remember that.
Oh God. I would have asked him for a counter NDA for him not to comment on me
That is a good point.
for, like into perpetuity as long as we're still alive. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that he nor Camilla or anyone else in the family would be able to say anything, and I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
able to say anything about them. It would have to be a mutual agreement.
Exactly.
Because the last thing she needs is him, kind of making snarky remarks about her, and
Mm-hmm.
he can say whatever he wants to. And of course, he hasn't. He really hasn't done that, but still.
You never know. You're exactly right. It's like, what's to stop you? I want legal language put in there that this is the agreement. As a matter of fact, yes, a matter of fact, when Mark Anthony, I think his first divorce, that was actually in the language in the divorce decree. You cannot trash me in public
Mm-hmm.
about the dissolution of our marriage. I remember that was like a gag order or something like that.
And I almost think it should be standard, just going forward, because we're seeing things like people, having photographs and releasing nonsense, all this sort of stuff. This probably
Mm-hmm.
is standard in a lot of these divorces, just to avoid complications and unnecessary stuff from a person who might do something they regret doing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now, who could this be?
I don't know.
Just rolling up in the house?
They're not very tall.
That her son?
Oh, I can't. Oh, I guess it is a taller person. From that perspective, they looked shorter. I don't know who it is. No, it's Charles.
Charles.
So
It's like, do you really think it's a good idea for you to be here right now?
that's something, a question, that communication, what level of communication? Because I know some people whose exes where they're really talkative.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't work out, but we're still friends.
Yeah, why you here? Why you here, Charles? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, you actually paid attention. What do you want?
I hope it's not like I want the kids to spend Christmas with me and you can't be there because Camilla will be there. Can Camilla
Hmm.
come over? That might be something I'd have to address in the.
Yeah, decree. Here's where you get them. Here's where I get them. You can't really say he can't have whoever the heck he's dating or whatever around the kid. It's difficult.
Mhm.
It's very, very difficult.
Especially since Camilla has been around them this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been allowed, so to speak. It may not have been to her knowledge, but it's been allowed. He's not going to ask her to see Camilla. This is really. I want you to befriend Camilla so that the public sees. I can't. I can't. Okay. All right, let's see what happens.
Crazy. Mm, but you gonna go anyway. So that's why you here. Mm, no. Do.
They're going to have to see each other, right? They're going to have to see each other. So
Yes.
why doesn't she just order in?
I think in a lot of ways this was more for him.
He just wants to make sure she's okay. Is that what it is?
It could be that she's okay or to find out how she truly is about the divorce. It's kind of like when your ex decides to contact you after like God knows how long. And it's not necessarily because they want to see you. It's more about how they feel about seeing you.
These are these other parts of a divorce. And it's funny because I was just speaking to somebody today about this. These other details about a divorce. Like for
Hmm.
example, one of the things that I think is very interesting is the idea of, so you could, both parties could have enough money, like you could have the money, you could have that. But what if
Hmm.
there's an emergency, something happens to you? All the money in the world isn't going to correct it. You actually need somebody to physically be there sometimes. And is
Right.
X the person who's on your life insurance policy? Is your X
Hmm.
the person who's on your pension benefits? All these different things to think about. If there's
Hmm.
an emergency, who gets the phone call in some cases, you know?
Hmm. Exactly.
He admitted his own fault.
Hmm. And wouldn't you be if you find out he's traipsing around with his mistress? What you expect?
Agreed. So I wonder how much of this, I think this conversation might have taken place.
I think I agree with you. It's kind of like the post mortem when it's like, I really don't have to associate with this person except, necessary.
Absolutely. No, they need to do this. They do need to get this out.
This resolution.
It's impossible not to love her because she is so lovely.
Hmm. I think it's just they both have two different ideas of love. because they didn't know each other for very long, and the crown pretty much said, "This is who you are going to marry."
Why did I know that this name would come up at some time, as I suspected? He wants
Mm-hmm.
her to approve of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants.
Like, well, I have my freedom now, so no, she did not, because you didn't put a stop to that.
He could have just told her that.
He could have, but he didn't want to. And I think that was his foil for not really feeling secure enough to keep her.
Well, that's true. You remember he had to give up a lot of the activities this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's seeking out her approval.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't do this. That was her only mistake. But you didn't want to do this, Charles.
You're right. You're absolutely right. His intention was not the same as hers.
Mm-mm. Exactly. Because my mom told me to.
Hmm.
And that's it in a nutshell. And he, I think, resented Diana for exactly that reason. I married you because I was forced to. So I had to pretend to love you. Yep. Your mom and dad told you who to marry. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's the most popular woman in the world.
Not you. That's right.
Ouch.
That's so true. Me not even being in a monarchy, I knew that. Again, Charles, why were you here? You were here for you.
Yes. She's not ever going to be out of your life completely and out of your family. In
Mm-mm.
fact, she's the most popular woman in the world you're talking to.
And I think that's eventually what he was shown. It's like when you have a divorce and both partners are kind of like, well, I'll be much better off without you anyway. Some of them are, and some of them aren't.
I think it would have been interesting had he put in a stipulation saying that she had to make certain number of appearances per annum, and
Hmm.
that would bolster his believability and reputation because of her popularity.
Mm-hmm. You notice that courtroom is packed.
That's right.
of the decree.
Mhm.
'Cause I think the respondent, I guess, is Diana.
Yes, they're not. Are they present? No, right?
I think they're lawyers. Just their barrister and I forget what the other one's called.
I don't know. I don't know. Clear the courtroom.
And theirs is notice theirs is in like a red folder.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. There's a date. Final. And that's it.
File it away. And that's St. Paul's Cathedral where they got married.
Mm-hmm. Man, that train
Wow.
was long.
Yeah, it was long.
I remember watching that.
Yeah.
Came by in like the carriage.
Mhm. And I think it's interesting, Lorena, you and I are a certain generation, and we have, like what we were discussing, we've seen divorce. Like, this is something we know as part of our, let's say, social reality of seeing people get divorced. You mentioned divorce court, but it must have been quite a different experience for the generation at that time, the elder generation, like our parents and grandparents, who this was
Mm-hmm.
considered absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah. Like how could you do that? How could you rip apart, your family? That's unthinkable. Whatever it is, you need to go and work it out.
Exactly. Now we're on
And
episode 10, Maria. This is the conclusion. I'm sorry.
oh, this is gorgeous. What they do about? Oh, he in L.A. Okay,
It's a stunning property.
beautiful.
But something, I only brought it up because if anybody who's watching this and is like our generation or younger,
Hmm.
unless divorce was not the norm, which it was not for these older generations, the interpretation of this and the devastation, I guess, in a sense of the family unit in a way,
Hmm.
could be interpreted very differently. As you said, it's more common now. So
Yeah, it's more socially acceptable. And just for some folks who were thinking, doesn't make it necessarily right in a lot of cases, but there isn't as much a stigma towards having divorce.
this is a conversation or a question that's been asked, I guess, since the beginning of the monarchy.
Exactly. Do you still want one? I mean, most Brits that I've talked to, they like having the monarchy. They kind of want it to change, but it's like a matter of, national pride. And strangely enough, in America, it's kind of like, well, they're figureheads, so why not keep them around? That is so petty, and I love it. It's so petty. Hell no. Wow. That's funny. But it is for a lot of Brits, and after, excuse me, after like 4 visits to the UK over my lifetime, the majority of Brits that I've met have been very proud of um of the monarchy. And not a, I'll say the point of embarrassment about the monarchy usually had to deal with Charles, that I've talked to. A lot of people did not like did not like Charles after this. After Diana's death, it's kind of like, eh, he's there. It's kind of like he's there, but it seemed like most of the adoration for the monarchy has been towards William. Like when he was dating Kate. I mean, I followed that, all of that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it was good. It was good. I
That
like
was
the romance.
that was wonderful, like to watch. And I think like that affection, they're kind of like, we don't want Charles, but we'll wait for William to become king.
So the queen is celebrating another birthday, and they call it the trooping the color, right, Lorena? When she celebrates her birthday celebration,
Hmm.
it's like it's a holiday from for the country
Yes.
when it's her birthday. So
Hmm.
it certainly is, a wonderful thing and something to look forward to there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Does he paint? Is it a painting he
I
did?
think he does. Yeah. Oh, is that the singing fish? Gag gift. That's because Andrew's a jokester.
It didn't go in your favor, ma'am.
No. Hmm. Nope. Nope. Yes.
Dear,
Dang.
awful for him.
But that was the sentiment at that time. Yes, she did.
They really, unfortunately, losing Hong Kong was a blow. And I remember Charles was there, then they had to retreat. Quite a
Hmm.
blow.
That was like a jewel, for them. So for the British to relinquish it, because they didn't have they weren't the superpower that they once were. Because we were like, why is China just rolling in and taking over Hong Kong? Because Hong Kong was goodness
Mhm.
rich.
90% of the businesses are in Hong Kong. A good portion of the trade is in Hong Kong. It's a big deal.
Yeah, huge, a huge deal. So when the British had to let go of it, it was seen as like a humiliation in a lot of ways.
Now, I believe this is the woman, Lorena, that I was referring to is his fiance.
Really?
Yes, this is Dodie's fiance that I was.
Oh,
And he gave her. I If that ring isn't worth $20 million, it's worth $10 million. Like it's the a very very valuable diamond.
wow.
I hope I'm talking about the right lady, but
Hmm.
let's see what happens. Maybe
Wow, I did not know. Man, they in a G4. Wow. I'd like to know which actress he was dating.
maybe I can find
Hmm.
her name.
Hmm.
Let's see what it says. The fact that I don't know. Kelly Fisher.
Hmm.
I bet you this is that young lady.
Oh, okay. Mm. Man, he got the credit card, the rolled up $20 bill, and lines of cocaine. Daggone it. That's the 80s.
Yes, it's her. That is actress model Kelly Fisher, then
Hmm.
30, says that Dodie dumped her by phone on August 7th, 1997. She was heartbroken.
Dang. Was that before or after he met Diana?
That was after he met Diana.
Man, that is messed up.
Maybe I could share it, even though we're doing our watch party. This is a little uncharacteristic of the watch party. Since we are talking about it, I'll just show that
we'll
quickly.
we'll get it ready for you.
Yep. Let's see. I think it's this one here. All right. Can you see the
Yes, he said he'd marry me. Oh, the son. Woo!
Dodi Fayed's fiance says he dumped her by phone just 2 days before the wedding after pics with Princess Diana emerged. There she is. This is Kelly.
Wow.
She's a beautiful woman.
Hmm.
And there he is with Diana. I know you remember those photographs.
I do remember these photographs.
She said it was astonishing to be engaged to him and dumped for a gorgeous woman, then see both of them dying over the course of 3 weeks. That must have been horrific.
Wow.
Yeah, this is her. I think he gave her the ring because she kept showing the ring.
Hmm.
I had no idea they were supposed to get married within 2 days' time.
I didn't know.
So I really wish they had her ring there.
Wow. Pre-wedding holiday. Oh my goodness gracious.
You
This
can see
poor
the anguish
child.
in her face here.
Ah, man. It's so sad.
She filed a lawsuit against him, and the lawsuit, it says she was still wearing the engagement ring because I loved him. She says.
Hmm.
So I wish they showed that ring. Well, maybe I can. Maybe if I click on that article about the ring, and I promise I'll stop
Oh,
sharing.
no worries. No worries. Good stuff.
Is it still sharing?
Hmm.
Okay. Hmm. This is not the article about the other ring, but all right. I can't find it, but what I was gonna say is that she went public with it, filed a lawsuit for, like breach of contract,
Hmm.
like what you would expect in the 1700s, breach of contract for a wedding. Um,
Hmm.
and of course, it went nowhere because only a few, literally weeks later, the tragedy happened.
Oh, that was so bad. Oh my gosh.
Now, the father
Horrible.
is upset because he keeps bankrolling films and they're all flops. Um,
Hmm.
I'm guessing since his girlfriend is a model and actress, he wants to bankroll a movie with her as well. But he doesn't want to. I'm guessing he's thinking it won't be a good return for the investment.
Hmm. Kind of like, why? Who is this actress? There are a dime a dozen in Hollywood.
He doesn't care for this young lady. He feels
Mhm.
that she is like a swimwear model, a swimsuit model, or something like that. So
Like she doesn't have anything really to bring to the table.
that's correct. Oh, okay. Maybe this is the I see the ring in question. Now, you're going to recognize the ring because it reminds me of another ring. And the ring that she's wearing, I can't believe I found it. You're going to recognize the lawyer
Hmm.
who, where, oh, yes, I can remember what I was doing. You're going to recognize the lawyer who, why are you going to recognize the lawyer? Because she's a well known,
Gloria Allred.
let's see, is this it?
Man, if I'm right, this is gonna make sense.
Okay. So this is the woman, and you
Okay,
can
so
see
that's
the ring.
Kelly Fisher.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there's the ring.
Oh.
Do you
Yeah.
recognize it? It looks
Yes.
like Diana's ring, doesn't it? Her
Yes.
engagement ring. And then the other picture I wanted you to see, oh, here's one where she's really upset. See the ring?
Yeah.
You can't forget that ring. It's amazing, right?
Hmm.
But there was a picture of her with the attorney that I wanted you to see. Let's see. This lady.
Gloria Allred.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you recognize her. She's a world famous attorney. Um,
Yes. She is a pit bull of an attorney. Yes. I know her very well.
So, and I'm going to stop sharing now, but I did just want you to see it
Wow.
because I'd never heard of anybody suing for that these days. We see them in every Jane Austen novel, and someone says,
Hmm.
"Oh, you're not honoring the marriage agreement? Well, here's your writ."
Yeah, Gloria Allred is famous. I think that was the case that made her famous, where she did sue for that. She picks up cases like this a lot.
Now, I think
She Oh, sorry, go ahead.
you're right, and I think that she did the ones for the guy who was a sex offender, Epstein. I think she might have worked on that one. I could be wrong, but she
Hmm.
also worked on. Yes, you're right. She has a long history of these high profile cases. Maybe one time she was DA, then she went private, but she's a well known. I recognized her before anything else, um, but it was a sad thing just to see how upset this young girl was. Um,
Hmm.
with her heart broken, but I think he left her the ring.
Oh, okay. So at least there was that.
It was worth so much money, Lorena, that ring. So and then people kept asking her, there's a video of her. People kept asking her why she kept the ring. And she's like, oh, why did I keep the ring? Um,
Cause
I
I
believe
want it.
I
Probably the
believe.
most expensive piece of jewelry everyone ever gave me. Yeah, I'm keeping it.
So I know I got a little distracted there, but I
No
just
worries.
because I'm pretty sure that's the lady in question.
Hmm. See, that's how we do this stuff. We do these watch parties. We'll just bring stuff up to show you in the meantime.
I certainly do have a different impression of John Major, who, as you and I both know, as Prime Minister of England for many, many years.
Hmm.
Certainly different point of view about him. Just in general, wondering who this man is, and now learning a little bit more about that. But I don't know. You and I had kind of done a preview, and I don't know how he felt about this show. But I certainly do want to learn more about him as a result of this.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And right now he's walking out. He's no longer prime minister. There's a new prime minister. Is it Tony Blair? It's Tony Blair, isn't it? The one who looks like a
Yeah,
movie.
I think Blair was after John Major.
Yeah. He absolutely looked like a movie star as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm. I remember him. I want to say I knew of John Major. It was like Margaret Thatcher, and then John Major was kind of around, but Tony Blair is the one I really remember.
Yeah.
That's a hack Jaguar.
What do you think about how quickly they transfer power over there? You can be prime minister for 20 years and then you may not be prime minister anymore. What do you think about that?
It's very strange. It's kind of, to me, it just seems weird to have something, just to have change prime ministers in your zap like that. It's almost like, let's say, Speaker of the House getting just like, okay, we just got a new one now.
Did John Major want to leave, or is he apprehensive about this?
I think he's apprehensive. And he said, hell no. Hmm.
Oh yes, is this when she lets people come into the palace to pay for it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it's very different than what I thought it was actually.
Mm-hmm. I gotta laugh at that. I've seen McVitie's biscuits. That's cookies for you Americans. Just letting
Exactly.
you know. Yeah. That would be like having a ship sponsored by the Keebler Company.
Oh, that's very funny.
That's a little out of touch. Okay.
I can't believe she's doing that.
I think to her it's a personal offense. She would rather retire it than have that happen because that is her. That is her.
Oh my gosh, there's only 28 minutes left of the season, Lorena. God, what's the ending going to be like?
Ready? Hmm.
Oh, it's Camilla. She's in the palace now. She's
Goodness. Oh, it's a new day.
no more breath mints on the pillows at night.
Mm-mm.
No more turn down service.
You
It's like
don't get your champagne before takeoff.
it's like flying coach to them.
Yes, cattle class.
Business class is very nice, personally speaking, but it's not
Mhm.
first class, but it's still really nice.
It's nice. I got bumped up to business class on British Airways. I'll never forget that. Oh my gosh, I had like a bag with like slippers you could put on and an amenity kit, and this, they were like bringing me wine and stuff. I'm like, God, this is nice. Wasn't first class, but shoot, I didn't care.
You're in business class.
I was a business class on a foreign airline, which is a whole nother thing. Oh, is this his trophy wife?
This is the father's. Yeah, I guess she is. They've been
Hmm.
together forever.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this actor played somebody else. Why do I feel like he played Gianni Versace?
I don't know. Maybe he did.
Maybe he did because I can't believe I didn't watch it because I actually saw I knew of his house in South Beach.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was I was just like, no, I can't watch it.
It was terrible what happened to him.
Hmm. Yeah, the assassination of Gianni Versace. I may actually go back and watch that, but I don't. Let's see.
Edgar Ramirez. It's a
Okay.
different gentleman. Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
I can see
Okay.
the likeness. They have a certain likeness for sure.
Yeah, especially the way he like kind of like carries himself, just kind of like how Gianni was. For real, I fell asleep during Swan Lake. There's certain pieces of Swan Lake where the music that I liked.
Oh, is she in their box? Are they together? Or they're just intermission talk?
Intermission talk, yeah, where everyone basically goes and mixes and powder your nose, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, whatever. The Nutcracker's still my favorite ballet.
It is wonderful, isn't it?
It's oh my gosh, just I first saw it for Christmas, around Christmas when I was in the Girl Scouts, and man, that changed my life. It was so
Aw.
amazing to see that. You have to, you can see it like on demand or anything like that, but there's nothing like seeing that in person. It's amazing. It's like seeing the Radio City Music Hall Christmas show in person. You have to see that in person.
Yes, I agree. Oh,
San Tropez, don't threaten me with a good time.
all right then. I guess we're going to San Tropez.
Hmm.
I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I'll go.
His bodyguards are all special forces. See, that's how you do it.
He's like the Onassis gentleman, isn't he? I guess because he had so much money.
In a way, yes. Mhm.
That man is charming, isn't he? I guess the father
Yeah.
has a lot of charm
Mhm. He said Egyptian and vulgar, which means they're gonna be balling out pretty much.
with belly dancers and all sorts of.
All of that. And I would so be there for it too. Shoot.
Oh, we're going on the yacht? Yeah, let's go.
Let's do this thing. Are we in Hong Kong?
Like, yeah, this is
Okay.
definitely Hong Kong. And this might be the night before the rollout because I remember the day of the rollout. I call it the rollout, the deoccupation. That
Mm-hmm.
Charles was there during the deoccupation, and
Oh my
they were just like
gosh.
watching at you know everything go, and then
Mm-hmm.
the tanks rolled in.
Mm-hmm.
When they lost everything.
It
So
was crazy.
mhm.
I forget which episode, I forget which 007 movie it was. I know Pierce Brosnan was in it, and they had to go to Hong Kong. And they had like a honey trap trying to seduce him. And they were just like, you have to remember, this is China now. And the British are gone. He's like, I don't freaking care about that. The last regiment leaving. Dang.
I would
I know people who, I'm sorry, go ahead, my dear.
I wouldn't want to be the person who has to give this speech.
No, I wouldn't. I knew people who left Hong Kong for like Vancouver, and they came to the US because one girl I went to college with, no, actually was working with, they left Hong Kong, changed their names. They were just like, we're not staying here because the CCP has taken it over. They got out. There's
Mm,
so much money that left Hong Kong and went to Vancouver and America that it was insane. They were just like, we're not staying here.
I believe it. Probably was a mass exodus, and it was their busiest, most important port in the entire country. So, uh,
Yes.
they've had a few turbulent years fairly recently, with
Mm-hmm.
people kind of, disappearing and the press not being able to say anything at all.
Yep.
There,
Exactly.
there was an agreement that they would have 50 years to make changes, and they reneged on that agreement, and they're like, screw that, not 50 years. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be now. When I say changes, I mean have to conform to all of the new rules.
Yeah.
So it has unfortunately not been a smooth transfer necessarily for
Mm-hmm.
so many people who just, you know, oh dear.
Yeah. Not at all. Not at all. From what I remember, that's why people were just like my one friend's family. They were like, no, we do not trust them. We are leaving. We are getting out.
Yes.
because it is gorgeous in there.
It's like a 5-star hotel.
I know. Hmm. True.
They don't want Camilla to come along with him. That's what he's really referring to.
Hmm.
That they're not going to accept her.
Not right away. Mhm. And rent that sucker out. I mean, can you imagine? Just oh my gosh, get to sail on the Queen's yacht.
Hmm. But what?
Hmm, good point. Mm, I remember her wearing that particular choker.
Yeah. Yep.
Yup.
You remember this.
Hmm. There
Get
was
the
nothing friendly about it.
mhm. Get those tanks rolling in there.
Hmm. Reminded me of a Tiananmen in a way. Mm,
Yeah. It had that eerie feel to it, didn't it?
yeah. Why do they have say in that?
I think they do have custody of the children.
Oh, okay.
as
Oh,
being
well,
their
okay.
heirs, because they're heirs, they have custody.
Hmm.
From what I gather, that's the case. They live there in England
Okay.
with the royal family.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, shouldn't she be asking Charles instead of the Queen? But okay.
I'm not quite sure what his involvement is in the
Oh,
rearing
okay.
of the children, so to speak. If
Okay.
I certainly am unsure of that, but I imagine that the settlement means that she
Hmm.
gets to have them at certain times, and
Hmm. Of course. You going to tell the Queen no? I don't think so.
so the children spent time with the Al-Fayeds.
Hmm.
So essentially, the future king of England spent time with the Al-Fayeds.
Yes. So you saw pictures of like Diana with the kids and with Muhammad Al Fayed. Because people were like, why is she taking the kids? And she's over there with this like old dude.
Well, they know who the father is now. So they already know it's been so many years that he's been in the country that they know
Mhm.
him very well. He's not a
Yes.
stranger. You know, I think it does say something when they know or at least expect a certain um, level of safety,
Hmm.
you know, if she's with him. And that
Right.
expectation, um, I guess, came into question after what happened.
Hmm.
The expectation of safety.
Right. Hmm. Oh, she wrote it for him?
He's acting on her behalf.
Ah.
He's
Oh, that's
representing
right.
the queen.
So he would have to say her words.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep. And you flaunted your involvement with Camilla Parker Bowles. She
Discretion.
wrecked your house. She was a home wrecker.
Discretion is not the word I would use.
Not at all.
I would say pompous would be the word I would use.
Very, very. When I die, dang it.
Boy, this is certainly timely, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
For the discussion in the last 10 minutes of the show to be talking about the transfer of power from queen to king.
considering what happened. Like, when did the queen pass away? Like two months ago, a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
They like us. They don't like you.
Well, this is really about changing Camilla's image.
Yes, rehabbing her image because the general public impression of her was that they did not like her, that she was basically a home wrecker. So, I mean, the British press would drag Camilla every which way but Sunday.
And we don't feel that way about William and Kate at all.
Not at all. We think like William and Kate are just, I mean, they're wildly popular
Mm-hmm.
and
And
they have a worldwide, connection because a lot of us, like you and I, grew up watching them grow up and get together, and marry. It's like it's a much more favorable impression on William than Charles, and mostly because of Diana as William's mother, because she basically took him out into the world. They would just like take them to orphanages like in Africa. You would always see them out places, always traveling. She always had her kids with her.
in college, William spent his gap year in South America where he had to kind of like work,
Hmm.
real work, where he was, responsible for, I guess, cleaning bathrooms and working in a school, which he was kind of lauded for. And I've never heard of a royal family member ever doing anything like that.
Not at all, at all. And it made him relatable.
Hmm. Well, what happens to all the possessions on the yacht? Does it get
They may have sold them all. They may have just like put them into storage.
is this a metaphor for a change of the ruler, or perhaps that shift in what the people expect from the monarchy?
I would believe so. The monarchy used to be very, how would say, kind of like on a pedestal, and a lot of it had to do with communication. Of the times, it seems like the more instantaneous communication has gotten with like visual medium and all of that, the idea of the monarchy being so separate, and not in touch with the people, it's gone away. People do not want a monarchy that cannot relate to them in some way. And I think this is a whole lot about the changing of the old Victorian idea of British rule to something that is more modern with respect to British rule. It's had to change because things around the world have changed. Britain is not the superpower that it used to be. So it's like the rules have to change for them.
And how clever they are to show the decommissioned royal yacht and now Dodi El Fayed's yacht here.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and we can see he's just proposed to his girlfriend here. Of course, he doesn't know Diana is going to be in. Is it Saint Tropez? San Tropez.
Yes, Saint Tropez.
San
It's just so cool just to say that. Saint
Tropez.
Tropez in southern France.
Hmm. All right.
It's just like it's like a personal affront to her.
Well,
Wow.
that certainly was an incredible season um, of this series, Lorena. And
Absolutely.
uh, what are your thoughts? I mean, a number of different things stick out to me, and I know we've been on here for 2 hours, and I don't want to keep you here too much longer because both you and I do have things that we must be on time for. Um, but one thing that I noticed or was quite amazed by was the fact that we got to know the El Fayeds, and I wasn't expecting to see something like that in this story. Certainly, it was pretty significant, and it
Mhm.
hadn't occurred to me that they would give us so much information on them. What did you think about how they have been portrayed in this series so far?
I think it's been very realistic with how they've been portrayed in the series. The way that they're portrayed doesn't seem so far removed from what we've seen of Charles and Diana in like in the press, in video, on various television shows, tabloids that we remember. They pretty much seem the same. They pretty much seem the same. I think that the series has been very faithful to that whole relationship, and I would say not only faithful but also making that parallel of real live people go through divorces. So the monarchy is not immune. They were not. They were not immune to it as well. So I think it was a great portrayal of both of them. I can't say anything seems seemingly out of order. The actors that portrayed them had Diana and Charles's mannerisms down pat. Charles is very, how would I put this? Charles is he's very intellectual. Um, Again, older man, very intellectual. He kind of has like a shield wall up, like there's a certain standard that he has to do. And in a lot of ways, he is like a mama's boy in a way. Mom told him who he had to marry. He's always got to go, back to her for things. And he just like, he can't be king until she dies. And I noticed that was something that they didn't blatantly say, but we all knew was true. She's like, I'm basically sovereign until I kick the bucket. So you're just going to have to live with that. And I think that resentment that he had, not only towards that particular situation, but that the fact that he felt compelled to live his life based on what his parents told him to do. I think that came through as well because I think that's a good percentage of the hostility that he had towards Diana after their marriage, and with Diana being portrayed as the young woman in the beginning, so vibrant, full of life. I mean, she was shy, but it's because this is being in a royal family is something that was very very different. For her, Charles was used to these social engagements. She was not, but also had to deal with the fact that her husband had no problem flaunting his mistress in front of her. And we'd heard and seen, like in many articles, rumored to be cavorting with Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. I mean, everybody knew who this chick was, and Charles was not in any hurry to kick her to the curb at all. And I think that's what contributed to a lot of people, for him not seeming very popular in people's eyes at all. So I'm glad they captured that too. So I love how both of them were portrayed, and I am very eager to see what they do with them in season 6.
Oh my gosh. And you're absolutely right, Lorena. This their approach to divorce and maybe perhaps I'm not going to say maybe a more normalization of this. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that our society, we're let's just say that we, as I said before, you and I are more familiar with it because our generations we've seen this. We had Divorce Court, a TV show about divorce. And at that time, for the older generations, it was considered disgraceful, and I'm not quite sure whether that was conveyed, but I felt like we had to kind of say that because of the legacy of what they're trying to portray. And you also made a good point in regards to Camilla. She was always there. It seemed like every time you saw Charles, there she was, literally right next to him in the house, or it,
Mm-hmm.
they're out, you know, shooting, and she's there. It seemed like she was always around, so no one could say that she wasn't present. She was always present. It was indisputable. But getting duped to dupe the royal family, in particular, one of the most vulnerable members of the royal family, was just absolutely maybe the biggest scandal here, as far as I'm concerned, because marriages sometimes don't work out. This is something we are familiar with, but the manipulation is absolutely appalling. I didn't know that that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us who were watching this, maybe some people knew, but what a disgrace. And, certainly was something that I think is just absolutely appalling. And the introduction of, Diana kind of being able to, but it did precipitate the divorce. And it was a concern. People can be separated for years and years and years. And we've seen this where people don't get a divorce. And
Right.
know whether that would have been the right situation for Charles and for Diana. It's up to them, but I have a feeling she needed to be able to live her own life, and she could only do that is if she was no longer a married woman.
Right.
So there was that. And the other thing that I was going to say is, they equated, they kind of, I had no idea also that the interview came out during, Guy Fawkes, and on the Queen's birthday. It was filmed on that day, and all these machinations to make it happen. It's certainly eye-opening. Honestly, this was a fantastic season. I can't believe it's over, but and I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait, maybe a year for the next, for season
Probably.
6.
Yeah.
But when they said it was going to be a lot about Diana, I wasn't quite sure what they meant. Honestly, Lorena, I think we learned so much about the family as a whole. Certainly, a lot more than I expected to learn about the family members. A little bit of the focus has come off of the Queen this year.
Mm-hmm.
Season 5 is a little bit less focused on the Queen, more on Charles and Diana for obvious reasons. So
Right.
so that was something that was a bit of a shift in the show. Um, and I think, as you had said, that actress who plays Diana here, at least in this season, was just spectacular. She was wonderful.
She
I
is awesome.
There were some moments where I felt, especially with the revenge dress photographs,
Mm-hmm.
some scenes, and I'm sure you felt this way, Lorena, that we were looking at Princess Diana there for a minute. We know that many members of the family, of the British royal family, do watch this series. And I hope that they are looking at it. And yes, we admit that it is a dramatization. We don't know if everything, obviously, every moment was not captured, but this is a dramatization based on real events. I think this is a 10 out of 10. I think that it's truly something that's not easy to capture, but they've done a great
Mm-hmm.
job. And I just want to thank you for watching this series with me. The 10 hours is a lot of hours to do this, but it certainly was worth it. And I did just want to ask you, Lorena, where can people find you?
Well, folks, you can find me on Twitter. You could also find me on Instagram. And of course, you can find me here on YouTube, where I do various live streams and videos. So thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun. Yes, it was a little long, but that's Netflix's fault for dumping all the episodes on the same day. So yeah.
Absolutely. And guys, you can find me here on Positive Fandom or on the PGS, also on the 1/6 Scale Man Network, and sometimes on Lorraine's channel,
Mhm.
as well as Midnight's Edge. So please do check us out there. For everybody who's watching, thank you for watching this watch party of The Crown. This is really just one of my favorite episodes, a very special series that we have been covering. It's such a pleasure to cover it. And Lorraine, thank you for joining me on this watch party. It's been such a pleasure to watch this with you. And for everybody out there, no matter where you are or what you're doing out there, always please do remember to be kind, guys. Take care, everybody.
Bye.